I didn't wake up one morning and find I was resilient. It was something I had to build, one setback and adverse event at a time, much like a muscle. While resilience can be taught by a parent's example or by taking a survivalist course, nothing builds resilience like enduring adversity. We either die from it or we grow from it. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger." Every encounter with adversity forces change, for both good and bad. Just as a bad relationship might turn someone into a hermit, it could also lead them to personal growth, fortitude, and wisdom that will prepare them for their next exposure to adversity. Most people emerge from significant adversity as a changed person, or at least with an altered perception. Many say, "I just want to return to how things were before." The truth is, that seldom happens. Life goes on, and adversity shuffles the deck, often making a return to normal impossible. That said, the very nature of life is all about change. We can't go back, but we can be thankful for what we have, not the least of which is that we are still alive. Just as a blown-over tree will never return to how it was positioned before, it can adapt and grow upwards. Sure, it will look like the shape of an L, but it will reach skyward in search of the sun. Different? Yes, but the tree can thrive again, as can we all. Some define adversity as the experience or continued experience of difficulty, hardship, distress, or misfortune. Others say it involves facing significant challenges, obstacles, or problems that test a person's resilience and strength. Adversity can take many forms: personal setbacks, loss, health issues, financial struggles, or being emotionally affected by the most recent political elections. Adversity allowed me to grow, forcing me to dig deeper, redefine my limits, and ultimately emerge stronger or wiser on the other side. For me, adversity brings depth to my perspective. In the 1975 movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail, there is a scene where two knights are sword fighting, and the better fighter cuts the arm off of his adversary, who says, "'Tis but a scratch." After he cuts off his second arm, the adversary says, "Just a flesh wound." After his right leg gets cut off, he yells, "I'm invincible." Finally, after losing both arms and legs, the adversary says, "We'll call it a draw." Absurd? Yes, but I think that movie prepared me for my attitude as I would continue facing the surgeon's scalpels hacking away at my body over time. All of us experience adversity differently on our own bell curve. Someone who stubs their toe may experience an 8 out of 10 on their scale, but when a woman experiences her first labor pain, it will reset her pain threshold, as will the next. Regardless, what I perceive is usually what I receive. In other words, if I expect pain, pain is what I will get. Fear of what will come only breeds fear, because expectations affect how experiences are interpreted. In my medical myotherapy courses, I ask patients to rate their pain level on a 1 to 10 scale at the start of each treatment and what they couldn't do because of the pain. I found that function always improved faster than their perception of pain and dysfunction. Again, all adversity involves the lack of or loss of something or someone. It could be the loss of a limb or the ability to walk. In my case, I lost more than my tongue. At first, I lost the clear radio voice I had honed and used in training videos, television and radio advertisements, and teaching seminars. Later, I lost my ability to speak at all. I also lost relationships, especially during my first rounds of chemotherapy and radiation treatments in late 2013. Some friends couldn't handle seeing the drastic changes to my face. I looked frail and nearly 100 pounds lighter. They stopped communicating and stopped coming by to see me. Meanwhile, others showed up determined to bless me as best as they knew how. Some losses are invisible. When a woman experiences the loss of her pregnancy to stillbirth, miscarriage, or even an abortion, most employers don't give time off as they would if an employee lost the baby after it emerged from her womb in a live birth. Why would they? From most employers' perspectives, it was just a fetus, but to the expectant mother, it could have been the culmination of her life's dream to be a mother. When that woman is seen out in public, there are no signs of her loss. She doesn't wear an armband or other visible sign to represent the loss of her stillborn child. Her suffering continues in private, and her grief is processed in waves, often when it is least convenient. The loss of a finger might be easier to process than the loss of a lifelong relationship, and both pale in comparison to the loss of a child. My losses don't compare to the loss of a life. I'm alive, and I am thankful for that every single day. I never chose to experience the adversities I've had to face. These weren't experiences I wanted, but I've grown stronger because of them, not despite them. Life choices can offer something good in exchange for inevitable pain and loss in the future. If a person marries, for example, their marriage will end, either in divorce or in death. People take a chance on love and pray for the best, choosing joy, knowing it will eventually bring heartache and pain. Life challenges will also test marriages and relationships. Couples who work to build a solid foundation before adversity strikes have a better chance of surviving and emerging stronger. The choice to stick with it and do the hard work can pay off. It's as though adversities experienced within a marriage are exercises, strengthening the bond and the relationship as the couple emerges from each experience. The pain of hardship builds inner strength and emotional resiliency as each experience fortifies our resilience and strengthens our resolve. The more significant the difficulty, the more opportunity for change, potentially preparing us for our new life purpose. Since ancient times, masons have mixed horsehair into mortar and straw into bricks to help them maintain strength and durability under stress. After college, when I went to work for a pole building company in Linwood, Washington, Doug, the assistant manager, wanted me to become familiar with the various features of the buildings they erected compared to the competition. Over several days, we visited dozens of structures. Some were over a decade old and some were newer. At each inspection, Doug pointed out the condition of the concrete slab floors and how they had held up over time. Oddly, some older buildings' concrete floors had no cracks, while some newer buildings had cracks throughout. Doug explained the slabs that weren't cracked contained fiber mesh, which was a modern interpretation of the centuries-old techniques of adding horsehair and straw to mortar and concrete. The fibers, which look like short pieces of cut fishing line, are churned into the concrete during the mixing process. The fiber mesh brochure showed before and after photos of 3 identical concrete blocks, each individually tested by the crushing force of a large hydraulic press. The first block was made entirely of concrete, the second had steel rebar reinforcement, and the third had fiber mesh blended in. The unreinforced concrete block crumbled under the pressure. The block with rebar cracked, but chunks of concrete broke away to expose the embedded steel bars. But the fiber mesh block was mystifying. Rather than crumble, it uniformly held together while appearing almost malleable with limited distortion to its original shape, relying on the nearly invisible plastic fibers for strength. The difference in durability came from within. Years later, I used those seemingly fragile plastic fibers in the foundation and floor of a concrete block building I built in the fall of 1999. Just over a year later, we were hit by the Nisqually earthquake of 2001, which was 6.8 magnitude in scale. It was huge. While many buildings and roads throughout our region were found severely damaged after the shaking finally stopped, my concrete floor didn't have so much as a crack. The slab floor was strong from within. The same is true for us. Our capacity to avoid being crushed or destroyed by adversity comes from within us, and the combination of our thoughts, beliefs, faith, hopes, dreams, and desire to survive are components of our invisible reinforcement. Strength comes from within. As adversity presses against us, our mind and body react, compensate, and provide an opportunity for the stress and pressures to strengthen us, which increases our resilience and produces what others see as courage. In the same way that your muscles are made stronger by stress and strain, your heart, mind, and resolve can also be strengthened. Courage isn't just about strength alone. It's a component of strength, determination, perseverance, and perspective. Courage actively takes our thought processes captive, directing them by conscious choice.